Today we are going to learn how to rewrite numbers with decimal points in them and line up those decimal points and then add or subtract them. So if I had the number 24.5 or 25 and 5/10, take away 2/10. I have to rewrite these in the up-down way so that my decimal points line up. Now most kids would automatically subtract the 5 and the 2 because both of the numbers are at the end, but I want you guys to rewrite these problems every single time the up and down way with one number on top of the other. Make sure it looks exactly the same way as the first original number. So if I have a decimal point and a 2, I have to write a decimal point and then a 2, and I want to check it and make sure. Decimal point and then a 2, and then over here I have a decimal point and then a 2. They have to be in the same exact order. Okay, so now I have my decimal points lined up. I can do my subtraction. 5 take away 2 is 3. Bring down the decimal point. I have a 4, take away 0 is 4. 2 take away nothing's 2. My answer is 24 and 3/10. Okay, so what if we have this problem? This is going to be an interesting problem. Watch this. 25 and 1/10 take away 3. Now I just said you have to write it in the up-down way and line up those decimal points, right? But where's that decimal point in the number 3? Is it in the front or at the end? Well, if I put the decimal point in the front, then I'm going to change my number. No longer does that say 3. I put the 3 in the 10ths place there. Now that doesn't say 3, right? It says the number 3/10. So I have changed my number completely. It is no longer 3. If I put that decimal point in the front, I've made it 3/10, and that's not what we want to do. We want to keep that number a 3 and not make it say 3/10. Okay, so let's figure out where we put the decimal point. We're going to put the decimal point not in the front of the number. We're going to put it at the end of the number. Now we made the 3 in the ones place. Right before the decimal point is the ones place. So now I know in my number I have the number 3. The decimal point goes at the end of the number. Now I can line up those decimal points. So I'm going to put my decimal point in from my 3. Rewrite it the up-down way. So I have 25.1. Put my decimal point in for my 3. It's right there, see? And now I have to make sure I make it look exactly the same way. The 3 comes before the decimal point. I'm going to check it. Did I write it or like the original number? The original number has a decimal point with a 3 in front of it. I have a decimal point with a 3 in front of it, so I'm good. Now I can subtract. Fill in a 0 if you feel like you have to. 1 take away 0 is 1. 5 take away 3 is 2. And 2 take away nothing is 2. I have 22.1. Make sure if a number does not have a decimal point in it that you write that decimal point at the end of the number. Do not change it and put it in the front. Don't make it say 3/10.